A couple of weeks ago, we explored the ad hominem attacks from those alleging that the measles outbreak might have been brought over the Mexican border by unvaccinated Hispanics. We actually looked into that hypothesis. It made no sense, not only because the data didn't support the fact that Mexicans were bringing in measles over the border, but we actually looked into the vaccination rates in much of Central America, and much of Central America has higher vaccination rates than the U.S. Mexico, for example, 99%. Nicaragua, 99%. Panama, 98%. Belize, 96%. Guatemala, 93%. 108 countries in all have higher measles vaccination rates than the U.S. We now have a study which tells us that 16 African countries have surpassed the measles vaccination rate of the U.S. In the U.S., because of this anti-vaccine movement that has grown over the last 10 or 15 years, the measles vaccination rate has dropped. Whereas in Africa, the measles vaccination rate has increased significantly over the last 15 years. This is according to the upcoming Africa Survey 2015. Now, deaths during this period from measles have dropped 88% in Africa, from over 325,000 to under 40,000. Globally, measles deaths have also dropped significantly. Let's look at Niger, for example. Immunization rates against measles went up by 81% between 2000 and 2013, and measles-related deaths decreased by 91% during that same period. Ethiopia, many other countries, similar numbers, to the point where now 16 African nations have a higher vaccination rate than the U.S. Tanzania has a higher measles vaccination rate than the U.S. I wonder, Louis, whether part of the momentum of the anti-vaccine movement could be caused by the success of vaccines. And what I mean is this: vaccines have been so successful at reducing the prevalence and death from certain diseases that people are not taking the risk from those diseases seriously. And they say, hey, it's not that big of a deal not to vaccinate. Measles isn't really killing that many people.
I think in this country, yeah, that could be the case. And we also have a problem with the media playing the false equivalency game. And because this has blown up so much, now you have so many people who weren't even aware that this debate was happening. They are aware of it, and they might go online and look up some of this bad information and decide not to vaccinate.
I think false equivalency is a good point to go back to that. I really like that because we haven't discussed it much. We talk about it with regard to ex-gay therapy. We talk about it with regard to climate science. The corporate media saying, here's one guest with view A and one guest with view B. Let's pretend like they're both equally valid views and just debate it. It's starting to happen a little bit with the momentum that the anti-vaccine movement is being given by corporate media.
Indeed. And there's also the trend of just asking whoever is prominent and happens to be on your program about this as a topic, regardless of their expertise on it. And they might have one of those opinions that we don't agree with.